Welcome once more to Little Bytham, my East Coast mainline train set. Now, this presentation is not about the railway, it's about what you'll see. And what you'll see are Hornby RTR locomotives running on this railway. If you hear that, that's an actual train on the East Coast mainline, 12 inches to the foot, which is just over there. Hornby locomotives, RTR locomotives, an extremely high standard now. Time was when I wouldn't have touched anything RTR, preferring entirely to make my own locomotives. Although I still do that, I'm more than happy to use what the likes of Hornby now produce. And you'll see these in the few minutes to come. All of them have been altered in some way, improved, detailed, renumbered, renamed, weathered, etc. In one case, a total repaint. In other cases, I've replaced early tender drive chassis with loco drive. That isn't necessary now. I'd like to thank particularly Ian Rathbone, who's done some of the painting, Jeff Haynes, who's done some of the painting, and Tom Foster, who has done some of the weathering. All the work on the locomotives themselves has been done by me. I think you'll find that these Hornby RTR products at source run superbly. In some cases, as you'll note, hauling full-length trains, many of them built from metal kits. We begin with an 01, a Thompson rebuild of the original Robinson 04. All I've done to this is renumber it and weather it, and also alter the handrail around the smokebox front to make this example unique. A Britannia. It's been in, well, the Trian and then Hornby catalogue for years and years and years, and this is by way the finest manifestation. Again, just a renumber and a rename, and in this case, it's been weathered by our elder son, Tom. Another Hornby Britannia. In this case, what I've done is fit etched brass smoke deflectors, and friend Jeff Haynes has completely repainted it. This was Hornby's first new A3, 60077, the White Knight. Now, I was delighted with this because this was one of the first A3s I saw in 1956 at Retford. All I've done here is to remove the German smoke deflectors and fit etched plates. Also, as with almost all these Hornby detailing things, I've fitted new bogie wheels. And please note, a crew and, most important, the appropriate lamps. Hornby's latest, a Thomson A22. I had a little bit of input to these models' development, but the reason they're really good is not because of me, it's because of Hornby's design team. In this case, I've not altered the bogie wheels, they're the best I've seen RTR. All that's happened is I've renamed it into Earl Marshall, and friend Jeff Haynes has weathered it to perfection. It featured in a recent issue of BRM. A Thomson B1, the finest RTR B1 ever. Note here, new bogie wheels. I'm sorry, Hornby, I didn't think much of its chimney. So that's a Market's brass chimney. Renumbered, and in this case, weathered to perfection by friend Tom Foster. The finest RTR A4 by miles, and made even finer by Ian Rathbone, completely repainting it. Again, this has got new bogey wheels. It's obviously been turned into Dwight D. Eisenhower, a magnificent model at source. Such is the attention to detail on Hornby's part that this A3 actually has an A4 boiler. I've never gone into those sort of differences in the models I've made. New plates, a new identity, and wonderful weathering by Tom Foster. Another Hornby A4. In fact, this started life as Sparrowhawk, and what I've done is just fit scale plates and weather this one. Again, new replacement bogey wheels as well. My second 01. In this case, I've fitted replacement pony wheels, but I don't think that's necessary. This one was supplied as weathered, but with the greatest of respect, all it seemed to be weathered by was squirting some dirty thinners at the wheels and motion. So I've renumbered this one and added further weathering, and also tools on the tender and real coal. Hornby's 8F, again a splendid model. All I've done here is just renumber it and weather it. The Hornby L1. Not much done to this other than renumbering it and weathering. My weathering is really no more than dry brushing. This has had a little bit more work. It's a very old Hornby J52. It was originally in rather splendid Great Northern Railway livery. However, I just repainted it, satin black, and renumbered it to a BR example. However, there's a bit more than that. The original mechanism in this, to be fair, isn't very good, or wasn't very good. So I've scratch built a chassis for this, fitted Romford drivers and a proper cam motor and gearbox. The current motor and gearbox combinations employed by Hornby in all its locomotives are splendid, so not really necessary now. I've built about 4 B12s from a variety of kits. Coopercraft, I won't say any more. McGowan, I'll say even less. PDK, splendid. This is splendid. Hornby's latest B12. Again, the type, I think I bought one in about 1960 when it first came out. A splendid toy. This isn't a toy. This is superb. All I've done, again, renumber and weather. Lamps, of course, crew, coal. What a lovely engine. This started off as the original Claude Hamilton, and all I've done is to renumber it to the post-war one of the Royal Claudes, and Jeff Haynes has weathered it again to perfection. This is the BR version. This really is a lovely model. Both of them are lovely models. But one point, Simon, if I may, when are you going to do the one with a decorative valancing? It would sell like hot cakes. All that's been done to this, a little bit of detailing and a Tom Foster weathering job. I can't remember who originally produced the 2P, but it was tender drive and, in my opinion, really nasty. This is the latest manifestation. It's got proper loco drive. Again, all I've done is just renumber it and a little bit of weathering. I think this one was in the original Airfix portfolio. Tender drive and horrid. Anyway, Hornby now has a proper loco drive Once more, just renumber, weather, real coal, fire iron tools, that kind of thing, and in this case, a Stanier chimney from Alan Gibson. I do have a couple of old Airfix 4Fs, and in this case I gave the tender drives away, the original tender drives, and this one has a Southeastern fine cast set of frames, Romford wheels and a DJH motor gearbox combination. Far better running than the original tender drive. Please enjoy this compilation of Hornby locomotives running on Little Bytham. Now, obviously, because it's an East Coast main line depiction, the locos I've shown are appropriate for that. But all the other locos in Hornby's range run just as well as these. These, remember, are in double O. The next ones you'll see, after this compilation has finished, will be in EF on Retford. Retford, the late Roy Jackson's masterpiece, now taken on by Sandra Orpen. And she uses Hornby locomotives, but in this case, they've been regauged to EM. Nothing more than just moving out the driving wheels, still on their original axles, and replacement bogie, pony, and tender wheels. Good enough for Retford? Good enough for me. Another Hornby Britannia on the boat train. Again, the driving wheels just moved out to EM and replacement bogie, pony and tender wheels, but the mechanism's entirely Hornby and it works superbly. Another A4, this one renumbered to 60006, Sir Ralph Wedgwood. Again, just the wheels moved out. And even a Hornby Railroad Tornado in EM. Look at it, pulling a prototype length Queen of Scots. I think most of the cars, the Queen of Scots cars, are Hornby. But the mechanism, still Hornby. My thanks to Sandra Orpen for allowing me to take this moving footage on Retford, and to Robert Capp for driving the trains. So if you can hear a little bit of conversation on the Retford pieces, I apologise. We were all having a very, very good time. I hope you've enjoyed watching these Hornby locomotives running on Little Bytham. I hope you'll note as well how smoothly, quietly and sweetly they run, in many cases hauling heavy trains. My particular thanks to Simon Kohler for being responsible for the production of these lovely RTR models. I've produced loads of blood, sweat and tears and profanity getting my kit-built, scratch-built locomotives to run as well as these. In conclusion, I'd like to thank my dear friend Chris Walsh, he and Wendy, his wife, who made and produced the famous Right Track series of videos, Another Train. It's Chris who managed to put together my handheld camcorder footage and make it into something far, far better than its parts. Thank you ever so much for watching.